Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into my teams versus Kuro and Django to Super Evolve Mihawk. And as mentioned in today's video, we're taking a look at what I'll be building to take down the treasure map, coming in about 24 hours time from actually recording this particular video. And as always, this video is a preparation video, so look, we'll see how it goes when the actual content comes out. But if you guys have any suggestions, if you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comment section below, because I always love tweaking this kind of stuff. And what you guys see here may not be the final product in a day's time. Also, while you're down there, button the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification, because we will do a playthrough video with these teams once the treasure map goes live. Plus, I'll leave a link down below for the buildable teams to give you guys some other ideas on how to take down this particular content. Now, the aim of the game with myself is speed. I like using wave clearing strategies to take down mini-bosses. I don't prioritize the mini-bosses that heavily, and I funnel all of my boosters into the final fight and the intrusion. Now, obviously, I got very lucky, and I pulled Usopp and Kaya, I believe is her name, as treasure map boosters, so I will be including them on the final boss. But if you guys didn't pull them, then look, head over to the buildable teams, because they should help you out. Let's start it off with Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas. The booster characters are the 5+ Luffy and Nami and Sanji, the free-to-play treasure map character. All characters get the good stuff on the final stage. There is 5 turns of special button on your left-hand side. Right side gets stunned. 99 turns of normal attacks only. 6 turns of attack down. 2 turns of increased damage taken. And 99 turns of full immunity. Now, easy way to get around stun is you can use something like the pudding support, but if you guys have this 5+ Luffy, he is the Blitz Super Evolution character. You can basically just use him on the right-hand side, and he takes care of stun. He has a Sailor ability that makes him immune to stun, plus he gives you an attack boost, he gives you an orb boost, he special removes attack down, it removes stun, it just works absolutely fine. And then you can bring any captain you want. I'm using Nami Karina because I love double drops. I'm using Vista as my double wave clearer, and then the last 2 units being Roger and S-Snake. They're literally just point boosters. Replace them with anyone you like. It's not going to matter. Just like my buildable teams, this team looks exactly the same, purely because Luffy literally takes care of everything. He just does. You can't use him as a captain because he won't bypass stun, but if you use him as a sub, he definitely will. If you want to use Nami and Sanji, if you guys didn't get the Luffy, you can pick them up in the treasure map shop. They work exceptionally too. Moving on to the next fight, we have Perona. She starts as an Psy unit, ends as a quick unit. Lucci and Izo are the recommended characters. Fighter, Cerebral, and Powerhouse characters get all the good stuff. And on the final stage, you get a full board of block orbs, 3 turns of slot line on your top row, 99 turns of normal attacks only, 6 turns of burn, 7 turns of defense up, and a Intimidation if you guys use any orb boosting abilities. There's also 99 turns of full immunity. So we are obviously utilizing our boy Lucci as captain. He has a limit break ability to bypass slot bind, so you just really don't have to worry about that. He's also going to completely remove defense up. He's a very, very good captain. But yeah, the main thing we're going to do here is use him to bypass the defense up. Plus, he's a 2-turn orb boost, so you can actually still get his orb boost. If you run 2 of them, you can apply increased damage taken. We have Hiyori to start with 1 orbs, so we don't have to worry about the block orbs. And then we have Zoro as our wave clearer. We have, is it Karina? And Yamato, the 5-star Yamato. Kuina. We have Kuina, like, obviously, I understand people probably don't have her. I got very lucky and pulled her on the second multi with Sanji. So, if you guys don't have her, replace her with anyone you like. And then you can use something like the 5-star Yamato, like what I'm doing. I always recommend keeping a 5-star of these characters because they are 1.35 boosters, and it does work nicely when you just have extra space on these mini-boss teams. Moving on to the next fight now, we come up against Sugar, and this fight is so easy if you guys have 6-star Gear 5 Luffy. Gear 5 Luffy, once again, showing why he is one of the best characters in the game for PvE, especially in the treasure map game mode. For some reason, we are getting connecting today, son. There we go. The recommended characters are Sanji and Zeph, which we're definitely not using because there's no reason to. Quick, Psy, and Strength characters get all the good stuff. You get an 80% HP cut on an entry, 9 turns of bind on your left-hand column, a full board of unfavorable orbs, 99 turns of normal attacks only, 1 turn of hunger, as well as 6 turns of threshold, 2 turns of a slot barrier with 2 recovery orbs, and then an intimidation. If you use color affinity, you lose 2 turns of it. There is, or the effectiveness goes down by 2. There's also full immunity, and when you defeat the enemy, you take 100,000 damage. So, very annoying stuff there. So, you can't use color affinity, but it doesn't really matter, because if you're on double Gear 5 Luffy, you can turn one of them into Gear 5, so you bypass the defensive effects. And the other one will have the revive for the 100,000 damage if you guys need to tank that particular shot. On top of that, he bypasses the binds as well, and he can be an orb booster and an orb manipulator for you as well for the final stage. So literally, you just use his special, and you are just hunky-dory. As for other characters I included on the team, I did have the recommended Sanji. He's not recommended that heavily, because you can just use like Treasure Map Sanji or the free-to-play Sanji. Like any Sanji will work. As long as you have 3 Straw Hat characters, this team will operate fine. I'm using the free-to-play Chopper, I'm using the free-to-play Brook as my wave clearer, and then I just threw on Shanks because he's a color affinity booster for, no. I threw him on just because he's a 1.35 booster. You can't use color affinity, so just be mindful of that. If you want to use Shanks as your captain, you could also do that. And then just bring someone to bypass those defensive effects. Moving on to the next fight now, we come up against Page 1 and Ulti. This particular fight is actually a bit of a doozy. Zoro, Mihawk, and Kuina are the recommended characters. Quick dex and characters get all the good stuff. And Mihawk starts as a dex unit, ends as a quick unit for his HP thresholds. It's really fucking annoying that they're doing this, but like, look, we just have to work with it. 2 turns of special reverse on your sailors, 6 turns of damage reduction, full immunity, as well as 99 turns of normal attacks only. There is an intimidation for 2 turns if you use any attack boost, 9 turns of despair, so 6 after sockets, and 11 turns of paralysis. If you use a type effect boost, you are going to lose all your beneficial effects. So the team I put together looks a little bit like this, and we are going to be utilizing a friend captain, Nami. So I have included Nami as one of my reserve teams. I'll just sort of switch to time to search for like my own Nami. She's not getting boosted this treasure map, so it doesn't matter about finding a friend. But the combination of Nami and Gear 5 Luffy, whether you're using this Gear 5 Luffy or you're utilizing the 6+ Gear 5 Luffy, you are going to bypass all of the despair, all of the paralysis, and it works very nicely. I've actually included the Nami support on my Luffy, so that way everyone gets 1 turn of cooldown, and then I can use the Nami special to give the other turn of cooldown, plus remove the damage reduction. Now, Nami's not getting buffed on this particular fight, but because you get 11 turns of paralysis, you're going to max charge her special, which will then allow you to get a huge base stat boost, as well as a chain buff, but more importantly, she is going to remove the damage reduction. You can actually activate her super tandem as well as her super class, so you can get a conditional buff with her too. Now, the reason I'm using Luffy as a captain is because Luffy not only gets around the despair, but you can use his special on turn 2 to wave clear and be a 3-turn attack boost. Now, as you guys are probably looking at this team, besides Vista, who's my turn 1 wave clearer, the whole team is either powerhouse, fighter, or striker. So everyone's getting buffed under both Luffy and Nami. They're not buffing each other, but the rest of the team's getting buffed. Literally, I just put them on the team like as like hit sticks because Luffy and Nami are literally taking care of everything else. So, nice cheeky little team. Obviously, you have to find your own Nami's friend captain, but look, it shouldn't be that big of a problem as we're still using our own Nami too. You don't really need to have Nami now I'm looking at it because like you don't want to use Koala special, you don't need to use Ryogoku, and you don't need to use Yamato, but look, the option's there for you guys too if you really, really want it. Moving on to the final boss team now against Kuro and Django. We obviously are using Usopp and we are using Kaya as our characters. We also have the Blackbeard on the team because he's a 1.4 times booster. Slash's Free Spirit Powerhouse, get all the good stuff. There's 3 turns of Slot Bind, 6 turns of Burn, normal attacks only, 2 turns of Damage Null, and then an Intimidation if you use any attack or orb boosting special by 1 turn. So 2 turns will still work, but the 1 turn buffs will obviously get removed with Intimidation. On the final stage, you get Block on Unfavorable Orbs, 10 turns of Threshold, 6 turns of Damage Reduction, Full Immunity, Normal Attacks Only, a Damage Limiter of only being able to do 70% of the enemy's HP, and then 5 turns of Special Bind on the left-hand column. If you use a base attack boost, you lose your beneficial effects, and then after 1 turn, you get 3 turns of Special Reverse and 6 turns of Resistance. Now, from what I've been told, if you delay the enemy, it will not trigger the after 1 turn. So that's always really, really fun. Because you've delayed the 1 turn, it's like the game doesn't register it as its turn until it's done like 2 turns. So very nice stuff there. Now we are obviously using Usopp. He can remove thresholds. We're going to use the delay on the final stage. The way that I sort of plan on doing this is utilizing the Ace special to remove the damage null on turn 2. But remember, I will have Slot Bind. I couldn't find a way to bring Yamato as well. So I am basically just going to cop the Slot Bind. Like I just don't really have a way around that. Now, later down the line, if I start losing damage, I can use Blackbeard instead or just replace Blackbeard with Yamato to get around this 3-turn slot bind. No one has slot bind removal. It's actually crazy. But if you use Blackbeard on turn 2, you can delay, remove 1 turn of damage null, pass a turn, and then kill on the 2nd turn. I don't really want to do that, especially early when I don't need that much damage, so I'm going to use Ace to bypass the 3 turns of damage null, and then just use Blackbeard later down the line. Remember, you do have 10 turns of Threshold, so if you don't have 2 Usopps, using the Cornelio support works great. That way, you just only need to use 1 Usopp. Mihawk takes care of the damage reduction. And like I said, if you have already used the characters on the left-hand side, you don't have to worry about the special bind anyway. Kaya has a 3-turn color affinity buff, I believe. So you can actually use her on turn 2 to bypass the burn. And then she also gives all these other shenanigans too. Basically, we want her for the 3-turn color affinity buff. That's the main reason we're actually utilizing her. So that's my team. Like I said, it'll basically get swapped to something like this once the damage isn't enough, because if I pass a turn, the slot bind goes down to 2, move into the final stage goes down to 1, and the preemptive should remove it, from what I'm gathering. But if it's not doing that, I'm just going to replace Blackbeard with Yamato. Like, it's something that has to happen, and then I'll just move characters around elsewhere. Moving on to the Mihawk fights. Obviously, we are using the boosted character of Usopp and Kaya once again, and this time we actually have Sanji on the team too. I got very lucky and pulled Sanji on the 2nd multi. Sanji and Zoro have very interesting sailor abilities that give themselves 10 turns of cooldown if special reversed 1 time throughout the quest, so very interesting stuff. Dex, Strength, and side characters get all the good stuff. You get a full board of block orbs, 3 turns of special reverse on your left-hand side, 6 turns of burn, 6 turns of threshold, full immunity, and normal attacks only. On the final stage, Mihawk is an int and quick unit. He has 6 turns of special reverse on your right-hand column. You get normal attacks only, a 1.1 attack and orb boost. You get a full board of paralysis orbs, and there is a dex orb barrier for 2 dex orbs for 3 turns. Also, your left-hand column gets 6 turns of blind after sockets, and if you remove the barrier, you take 100,000 damage, and your tandem, recovery, Wano, all of those good orbs get turned into very low attack boost. So, the team looks like this. You are taking a lot of special reverse, and that's a big downside to this particular team as a whole. Because if you're not running Ace as a captain, then you are going to take 3 turns, and then you're going to take 6 turns. But, because I have Sanji on the team, and because I have Kaya, I actually get access to the super classes of Usopp's. Usopp's super classes give me 10 turns of special reverse just for Usopp alone, which is great. Plus, Sanji has the sailor ability that gives that 10 turns as I spoke about. So on turn 2, we're going to use Kaya to remove the burn. We're going to use an Usopp to remove the threshold. And then we're basically just using the left-hand column to do that. So, the right-hand column to do that. So we don't have to worry about losing the cooldowns later down the line. Now remember, you get 3 turns of special reverse there. So you will have to either have special reverse characters on the left, or you can bypass it that way. And then on the final stage, I'm actually just going to cop the attack boost. I'm actually just going to cop the slot effect boost. I'm going to use Ace to give myself a conditional boost, give myself a full board of orbs. And then to get around the bind, we're actually utilizing Sanji and his chain boosting shenanigans. So, as I mentioned, we're using my Usopp on the right-hand side. We're using the Kaya on the right-hand side. Ace has the ability to bypass special reverse, which is really, really good. But it also just depends on like what that looks like in terms of the bind. If the bind happens first, you do lose your sailor ability, so just be really mindful of that. So maybe putting Ace on the right hand side just so you don't have to worry about that is going to be the play. But then obviously Kaya is going to get special reverse too, so like it's a bit of a like yikes situation when it comes to this, because like I said, she doesn't have any way of getting around special reverse in her kit. So, like, yeah, you're just going to have to put her on the right-hand side to just bypass that burn, right? And that way she gets the color affinity. Ace, you could probably use, what's it called, that Ryoku Goku support, if you want to. Blackbeard's just here, just doing absolutely sweet FA. But you could use that Ryoku Goku support, this guy. What's his name? The Whitebeard pirate. This guy. You could definitely use him as a support for 1 turn of cooldown. And then remember, with your Usopp, you can give the 10 turns back on your right-hand side. Kai's not going to need it. Sanji can remove the bind. Works really nicely there. And then you can just get access to all of those other fun shenanigans. But like I said, if you guys have any ideas of what you guys are running, let me know down below. If you have any ideas to make the teams faster, better, stronger, all that fun stuff, let me know down below too. And while you're down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, whether you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.